Okay, happy Wednesday, January 6th. We will focus on reading and riddle skills. I'll read carefully and answer questions. And we are focusing on our reading skills, building those reading skills, especially people that are new to the class. Learning how to read the way I teach us makes a difference. And our close is going to be focused on the story that we're going to read, the article we're going to read. So we'll be thinking about that as we read. When I talk about riddle skills, remember, I mean, let me take the information given to us, the details, and then make up an answer that fits and works. And the more you practice doing that, the better off you are. So keep that in mind. We are going on to our new unit, but yeah, we're going to focus on reading skills here one more time as we start into it because they are so important. Also, if you get a chance, go into yesterday's discussion, read, like, comment on posts. So it's a class discussion, not just Mr. Carvajal reading everything. All right, so let's do our positive affirmations because we are good people. We are smart, confident, and successful. So let's do these together. What are you? I am smart.
I'm smart, confident, and successful.
Yes, you are. You rock. And how do I feel about reading?
I love reading. It's so much fun.
Yes, me too. And how do I feel about schoolwork?
The harder
I
I
work,
work,
the smarter I become. Absolutely. And for those of us that don't like reading, I know it's hard to believe this, but I'm proud of you if you said it in your mind or out loud anyway. And actually, once you do get good at reading, it really is fun. You know those kids in the class that always do well on tests? Yeah, you want to know why? Because they're good readers. That's a big part of it. If you read something well and you're good at reading, you remember, you understand, you recall. And when you're reading the questions, those same skills apply. The great thing about reading is it is a skill. So if you continue to work at it, your reading gets better. And I know a lot of people have improved their reading skills in this class. So for today, we go into Schoology and we have our question. It's pretty much the same scoring thing as yesterday. What kind of person was the driver appear to be? And how did his physical stature and age make him more likely to let road rage control his actions? So that's the question we're going to be answering. It's good to have that in your mind as we read. And I want to ask you to think about it. Any changes? I don't remember making changes. Oh well. Ask you to think about it. Is there somebody in your family that gets a little road ragey? Anybody in your family that's like, God damn it, right? And maybe they point at people, but they're not using this finger to point. They're using a different finger, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about? So if you have a family member that gets a little road ragey, I can get a little road ragey from time to time, especially if I'm in the fast lane, right? The left lane, the speed limit's 75, I'm doing 80, 85, and somebody cuts in front of me doing 65, and I'm like, what the hell? Well, I think that's kind of normal, isn't it? But what we're going to read is not normal. And I think you're going to enjoy the reading. So let's go ahead and open up your own copy of Hell on Wheels. If you click on it, you should be able to open up a PDF. And we're going to read through this together for the first half. Like I always say, when we're reading, imagine it. Picture it like you're watching a movie, and then act it out. And I'm really good at that. I have kids all the time say, why do we have to read half of it? Can't you just read the whole thing? You're such a good reader. I'm like, well, thank you. And yes, you do have to read half of it because you're building your skills. Every time you practice, that muscle's getting stronger. So keep that in mind. And of course, I don't know that word, Mr. Carvajal. So what? Just skip it. Enjoy the story. Okay, so like I said, we're going to read the first couple of pages together. You will read the second 2 pages on your own, and then we're going to answer these questions. Remember, when you're answering the question, you use the key words. In your answer, you tell us why it's a good answer, right? What do you think and why? And then you explain and give details, and just be sure and write a good quality paragraph. Okay, so I'm going to quit sharing the screen because I don't want you reading off of my screen. I want you reading off of your screen. So you should have this open right now. Yes, even you're a good person. Be sure and open up the doc so that you can read the PDF, and we'll start reading here in just a moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have your cell phones out, be sure you put them aside. Let's read. Reader's Digest, Hell on Wheels, a road rage story you'll never forget, by Malcolm McConnell. More than a traffic snarl. Last August 4th, 2000, was a normal commute for Michael Eck. He'd allowed more than 2 hours for the afternoon drive from his Baltimore home to his job as a forklift operator at an East Petersburg, Pennsylvania trucking company. A quiet family man, Eck worked nights, giving him time during the day to spend with his wife, Dawn, and his 2-year-old daughter, Christina. The 74-mile drive on Interstate 83 was one Eck had made every workday for 12 years. He knew rush hour traffic near York, Pennsylvania would be thick this Friday as people hit the road for the weekend. So far, though, his green Chevrolet Impala was moving smoothly along with the traffic heading north. Before taking the forklift job, Eck, 44, drove tractor trailers cross country, right? So he drove 18-wheelers, and he sympathized with the truckers around him. I-83 gave drivers, especially those behind the wheels of lumbering 18-wheelers, little margin for error in case of an accident or emergency. All right, I want you all to picture this. See if you can picture this highway. Its left and right shoulders were small, making it difficult for stranded motorists to pull over safely. A low concrete barrier divided the narrow 4-lane highway. Meanwhile, steep rocky hillsides closed in on the northbound side, while a bluff to a lake fell away sharply from the southbound lanes. So if y'all are picturing it, you should be able to see, you look to one side and you see the side of a mountain going up, right? Almost like a wall. And on the other side, it's falling off. So where are you going to go if you get stuck? You get it. At about 2:50 p.m., Eck was driving 65 miles per hour in the left lane north of exit 3. In front of him was a blue Peterbilt 18-wheeler, followed by several cars. As they approached the base of a steep hill, Eck saw that the truck, with 2 earth movers chained to its trailer, was too heavy to make the steep incline at highway speed. Yet the trucker wasn't shifting to the right lane, so faster vehicles could move by on the left. Eck decided to pass the truck on the right to avoid being trapped behind slower traffic. He signaled, swung out, passed the truck, signaled again, and returned to the left lane. Climbing the hill, Eck had to decelerate as he approached a slower car ahead. Suddenly, he felt a tap at his rear bumper, the kind of contact one might make with another car while maneuvering into a tight parallel parking space. Eck glanced up to see the Peterbilt's chrome grille filling his rearview mirror. It was a slight impact, but there might be damage. Eck and the trucker would have to exchange insurance information. This was the last thing he needed. If he was more than half an hour late for work, he'd be docked a day's pay. Eck knew there was no room on the left shoulder. So frustrated, he looked to the right, hoping traffic would let up and that he and the trucker could pull off. But the right lane was now clogged with cars. As the lane cleared, Eck waited for the Peterbilt to merge right, but the trucker wasn't trying to pull off. What was he doing? Suddenly, Eck found out. Bang! With a sickening thud, the 2 bumpers collided, the truck's steel against the Impala's plastic. Eck's mouth went dry with fear. The severe impact on the Impala slammed Eck's seat back on its rails, whipping him like a rag doll. His engine was dead. He tried twisting the steering wheel. It barely budged. The power brakes, too, hardly responded when pressed. He's intentionally ramming me, Eck thought. Behind him, he could hear the whine of the downshifting gears and the snarl of the diesel engine as the truck surged forward. Once more, Eck was whiplashed. Now the 18-wheeler was shoving Eck's car up the hill like a hockey player pushing a puck. Without power, steering the Impala was barely possible. Its extra-wide tires created drag on the road. It was like the car was driving through wet concrete. Gripping his steering wheel with his left hand, Eck punched 911 on his cell phone, a hands-free model with a microphone affixed near the driver's side sun visor. I just got rear-ended on 83 3 times by a Peterbilt, Eck said, his voice tight with panic. Can you help me? Dispatcher Vincent Brown at the Pennsylvania State Police Barracks near Exit 3 questioned the driver about his position. Eck shouted, "I'm being pushed! Literally!" Trooper Cyril Ulrich was in the station and heard the frantic call. "I'll handle it," Ulrich told Brown. It was about 2:55 p.m. Ulrich sped onto the I-83 ramp at Exit 3. Farther north, he came upon a rolling roadblock of rubberneckers from the violent car-truck encounter. Traffic in both lanes was clogged. By his clock, the confrontation was over 10 minutes long. Could the driver hang on? Michael Eck was breathing in ragged gasps, trying to keep the Impala in the left lane. The truck driver continued to surge ahead, smashing into the car's rear bumper. Each time, the car shuddered from the force. Eck knew that his car couldn't take the punishment much longer. "Where's that officer?" he yelled into the phone. All right, continue reading on your own. Finish the article. Find out who was driving that truck. Answer the questions. Give me quality work.